All right. This goes out to a very specific individual. Thank you for everything, as always. And let's see what.
Used to draw, hard to admit that I used to draw. Portraiture in a human form, doodle of a two-headed unicorn. It was soothing, moving his arm in a fusion of man-made tools and a muse from beyond. Even if it went beautifully wrong, it was tangible truth for a youth to refuse to belong. No name nuisance, stews in a bedroom, booze in a brand new cuneiform. Barely commune with the horde, got a whole grayscale ungluing his world. Might zone amp to the yap of the magpie, unseen.
Did he just say cuneiform?
Hard to admit that I used to draw. Portraiture in a human form, doodle of a two-headed unicorn. It was soothing, moving his arm in a fusion of man-made tools and a muse from beyond. Even if it went beautifully wrong, it was tangible truth for a youth to refuse to belong. No name nuisance, stews in a bedroom, booze in a brand new cuneiform.
It was. Wow. Huh. I'm just saying, cuneiform, isn't that, that's the Sanskrit, Mesopotamian, Sumerian. That's yeah, Sumerian. The Epic of Gilgamesh stuff. Interesting. I like that. I like this. Boy, that's the best word I've heard in a rap song in a long time. That is not sucking up. You knew you were right. You're almost right about everything you say. I just can't, got to share the love with other people. But yeah, no, that's kick-ass word usage there.
Used to draw, hard to admit that I used to draw. Portraiture in a human form, doodle of a two-headed unicorn. It was soothing, moving his arm in a fusion of man-made tools and a muse from beyond. Even if it went beautifully wrong, it was tangible truth for a youth to refuse to belong. No name nuisance, stews in a bedroom, booze in a brand new cuneiform. Barely commune with the horde, got a whole grayscale ungluing his world. Might zone amp to the yap of the magpie, unseen hand dragging his graphite. Cross contour, little bit of backlight, black ink after a Bristol to baptize. You can imagine a rush that ensue when you get three dimensions stuffed in a two. Then it's off to a school where it's all you get to, being trained and observed by a capable few. Back in New York by peeps and a dog in a two-bedroom doing menial jobs. Plus, rhyming is.
Oh, so you went to art school too, on top of it? I actually relate to that. That's why you hear me use words like when I talk about the gestalt or the whole. That's straight out of my drawing class. I couldn't draw. Here, I will be the first one to tell you that it is. If okay, you'll say this is how I say it. I don't care what your higher power is. Maybe you're gifted the desire to do these things, but they can be learned behaviors. You learn to draw. I learned to look. My biggest takeaway from my drawing classes was learning how to look at things better, making sure I observed negative space, positive space, focal points plus a flow, understanding where my eyes should track, how I should see things, seeing more than less every time I look. That all comes from teaching. Someone taught me that.
In a brand new cuneiform. Barely commune with the horde. Got a whole grayscale ungluing his world. Might zone amp to the yap of the magpie. Unseen hand dragging his graphite. Cross contour, little bit of backlight. Black ink after a Bristol to baptize. You can imagine a rush that ensue when you get 3 dimensions stuffed in a 2. Then it's off to a school where it's all you get to. Being trained and observed by a capable few. Back in New York by peeps and a dog in a 2-bedroom doing menial jobs. Plus, rhyme.
Looks like he went to school. Yeah. Oh. Then you go out to try to do it, to apply things like this to your life, and you find out. So like me, I basically found out that I didn't have the soft personality to be an artist for what that would qualify me for. So I played music and made indie films and kept working at the roofing trades and, well, kept getting high. Wow, I really relate to all this.
Back in New York by peeps and a dog in a 2-bedroom doing menial jobs. Plus, rhyming and stealing and being a clock.
So it looks like, and then there is he acknowledging that he started rapping at this point, not making it as an artist.
Distractions, freedom, abroad. I left some years of giving a light. I left some will the spirit away. I let my fears materialize. I let my skills deteriorate. When about I thought of what I should have been. Continuing a mission that was rooted in a 20-year affinity and rickety condition with an ID crisis. Snap on the front lawn.
Oh shit! I gotta hear that. I don't mean to be. I'm just so I don't have to cut to the chase. I can understand what he's saying.
I let my fears materialize. I let my skills deteriorate. When about I thought.
Yeah, so and then he kicks into that. But I looked around and I'm like, I mean, I have a couple of they're at the beginning. They were the two Tucci repros. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, Tucci. Whoa, Pablo's crying. But I did a lot of repros to hone my skills back in the day. And, yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb to stop doing that. Is he talking to me? Pablo is literally talking to the door. He's so frustrated I locked him out. Wow, Pablo. Yeah, would you open it for him? Oh, he's on there. Production assistant Pablo needs to come in.
Shut.
What's he doing then? I don't know. He's a weirdo. The dog's sleeping just fine. Hey, we got to get back to this. Yeah, so I just want to cut to the chase and see what it hits me on how it's connecting to this really well.
Spirit away. I let my fears materialize. I let my skills deteriorate. When about I thought of what I should have been. Continuing a mission that was rooted in a 20-year affinity and rickety condition with an ID crisis. Snap on the front lawn, look up in the sky. It's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. And now we're colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Used to paint. Hard to admit that I used to paint. Natural light on a human face. Stenciled fire in his roommate's face. It was blooming addiction. A miss and a push and a pigment. Book like a tattooed pigskin look. Pinhead kids in a minute. Drank Kool-Aid from a tube of acrylic. And I grew up in a linseed oil ever linen. Joy to the poison. Voice to the resin. Capture a map of a gesture. Back up, add a little accurate fat to the figure. Redo that move.
Gosh, was that actually a reference to the old school paint making process, or maybe and then drink. Yeah, I yeah. There's way more. I do not assume I understand everything that's going on, except for the leaving. Well, he's kick-ass rapping over a cool beat, doing all this, but then talking about, man, I used to do this and this. Look what was locked away in my mind. Look what was locked away in my heart. Did you even know these things made me tick?
Heart, though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Used to paint. Hard to admit that I used to paint. Natural light on a human face. Stenciled fire in his roommate's face. It was blooming addiction. A miss and a push and a pigment. Book like a tattooed pigskin. Look, pinhead kids in a minute. Drank Kool-Aid from a tube of acrylic. And I grew up in a linseed oil or a linen. Joy to the poison, voice to the resin. Capture a map of a gesture. Back up, add a little accurate fat to the figure. Redo that, move that inward. Zinc white lightning shoots from his finger.
Gosh, it's like add a little accurate fat to the figure. Just makes me think of what is it, Botticelli's or something. God, was that the one who did the kind of chubby cherubs and portly? I don't want to cross-reference art the whole time. That's what it makes me think about there. I'm not sure at all. Obviously, the deal.
Accurate fat to the figure. Redo that, move that inward. Zinc white lightning shoots from his fingers. Studio strewn with illusion and tinctures. Stay tuned for the spooky adventures. You can imagine the stars that align when a forearm starts foreshortening right, or a torso hung on a warping spine of a portion reads as warm and alive. Routine day with a dirt cheap brush. Then a week goes by and it goes untouched. Then 2, then 3, then a month, and the rest of your life to beat yourself up. I left some
That's why I always talk about it, and my portfolio's sitting there. I've showed it. I mean, I have my finals from my drawing class sitting right there. I totally reference it because I have huge regret, but at the same time, I was a realist the whole time, and it gets super complicated. Because I wouldn't even, I can't even talk. Man, I don't know where I've talked about it. I think Mike might be the only one who even saw that. Because I think I've complained about my instructors and my professors. I got caught in the weirdest. My teachers were sure they knew me. They had no clue who I really was. And they projected, let's just say, current racial events way early. I saw it under my own, when I was being taught by these ladies. I saw the changing tides way back then when I was earning that thing. There was no chance. I really needed to be a much more not strongly gendered man to get the door, because you got to understand, like that portfolio, the art school, they create a package. I got in trouble just because I didn't want my portfolio to look like every other portfolio, and what they did is they created a portfolio that was acceptable to all the top companies. That's why it looked the same. And I was like, I wanted to show my skills, and I thought this was just general education. So I didn't want a prepackaged, oh, we groomed you for this company, now go there. That's when I first learned how it all works, and that grooming for all kinds of things is a deal, right? They basically, you come out of the program ready to be shopped to one of 8 different design houses who's looking for that level of work. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was taught by, what did she have? Del Monte. She had a bunch of high-end. I promise you that my instructor had, if you're a normal viewer here and you're in the right age group, if you're over 35, you saw her work. Yeah, she designed stuff all over print back in the day. She was a great instructor. And the problem was I just wasn't the soft soft kind of person who could go into that field. So it really fell apart. And now I just kind of live in semi-regret, but not really. So here, why do I bring it up? So I don't have to live in regret. I live in acceptance. But I constantly spill it out to the shrink that is the camera because it's easier than letting it sit. Sure, I'd have a ton of regret if I dwelled on everything. But if it wasn't here and you, it'd be someone else. But better out than in.
Eager to fall. I left some work to bury alive. I let my means of being dissolve. I let my person curl up and die. Eating up his innards and unfeasible anxiety is brutally committed to relinquishing his privacy, aligning with the trials of the anti-Midas. Snap on the back lawn, look up in the sky. It's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. And now we're colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings.
That was amazing. Yeah, no, I don't have any problem. This stuff, even if it was even, it could have been. I can deal with it. You know what I mean? As long as we're not throwing TNA out there every day, let someone else do that. But deep thought or complicated, yeah, that was cool. I hope I did some justice there. At least my, personal opinions aside. That's my takeaway. It's very good. I like the tree analogy to use you up just to see how much you know. Kind of, for me, that's just how I'm taking it. Sell you out, work you out, use you up, cut you down to count the rings just to see how old you are, or how much knowledge you'd acquired, or how much skill you had, or I have no clue if I'm even close. The art analogy, of course, was all in the video and some of the bars. So I think in every one of the songs I've heard from this dude, it's been, there's that both. There's this, is intelligent enough to put you into the story. You're not going to be confused listening to Kirby. You're going to understand it's about a cat. Then there's going to be that multiple level stuff like the requester, like Mike pointed out in some of the comments. I mean, you want to read kick-ass comments, go back and read this guy's comments. He's been working the channel since we started with intelligent, wonderful stuff, and I'm only appreciative more and more and more every day that you hear. So, that was good. I liked it. Oh, yeah, 18, obviously. Hey, thank you. Later.